All right, we got 4 teams left here in the NCAA tournament between the men and the women of the ACC. We're going to talk about Duke. We're going to talk about North Carolina. We're going to talk about NC State. We're going to talk about Louisville. And we're going to talk about, more importantly, how on earth the stars aligned for Coach K in his final season to get North Carolina ahead of a potentially national championship on the line type of game in Hubert Davis' first year. Can you believe how well he's doing? I mean, some people say it was destiny. Other people are really saying, why are you surprised? And some are saying we should just be happy to be here. Let's talk about all of that on today's show with Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. I'm your host, Gibbs Cooper, along with my Monday host, Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. Today's episode is brought to you by StatHero. StatHero is reshaping the way you play fantasy sports. Dozens of house-based games to play daily. No sharks, no funky props, just your skill versus the lineups you choose. Sign up today at stathero.com/lockedon. Kenton, how you feeling? How was your weekend?
It was pretty good. I can't even lie to you. Took a little road trip, and yeah, everything is everything. I can't complain.
No doubt about it. We have some really good teams to talk about here today. 50-50 going on for the men and women out here in the NCAA tournament. So let's start with the men, though. The NCAA tournament has been super exciting. A little bit of Cinderella action, of course, but mostly some of the top blue blood teams have answered the call of being great at basketball once again. And we see North Carolina and Duke heading to the Final Four in New Orleans. Let's talk about how they got here. All right. And we can throw in Miami because we're nice. So Saturday, we see Houston and Villanova face off. Villanova does its thing. Cool. Then Duke faces Arkansas. And for this game, I was saying if Duke got past Texas Tech, it would be a sort of, I won't say easy road because nothing's easy. You have to play the game, but it wouldn't be as tense. I felt more confident in the Blue Devils, and they certainly answered the call in this 78-69 victory. What were your thoughts after watching the Blue Devils face off against Arkansas? Were you more impressed by this game, or do you still feel like there's certain nuts and bolts that they need to get together?
I mean, the reason that we all love the college basketball game is the same reason that I'm not too fond of the college basketball game. We're going to talk about this later because they're not the most egregious example of it, but they have gotten it right in 3 or 4 games straight, which now is like they've turned the corner. They're better now. They're an entirely different team, which, I mean, in college basketball, that's all that matters. Get into the tournament, flip a switch, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Everyone's brilliant, it seems, towards the end of the season, and we have serious revision history. We forget about all the hiccups that Duke had, the stumbling blocks that they may have gone through throughout the past couple of games, especially towards the end of the ACC tournament. And now we're saying this Duke team may be the hottest in the country. Anybody stopping Duke right now?
It's possible. It's possible because I'm going to tell you, the fact of the matter is, everybody likes to pretend like all of these teams that are performing well right now, this is who they are. These are exceptions. This is not the rule for almost all of these teams that are this deep. With the exception, I guess Duke is one of those teams that they've looked good for a majority of the season, but we've also seen them wet the bed in big moments before. So who knows how this next one goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, we had Jeremy Roach, who I think has stepped up most in terms of people that you didn't necessarily have on paper to be the standout star for their team. He certainly had a great tournament run. His leadership has certainly been essential for them. And then you look at Mark Williams, who I think is the most NBA ready guy here in this Duke grouping. And of course, Paolo doing his thing, but it's AJ Griffin as well, being the ball carrier, having the opportunities to, handle the rock a little bit more, having more confidence in his shot. And despite the fact of getting getting an injury throughout this tournament, he, juiced up and he's still rolling. So that's what we do here during NCAA tournament. Has anyone else impressed you, or maybe any of those guys that I talked about have stepped up in ways that is promising here for these final 2 games?
Griffin.
Okay.
Griffin has shown what it takes not only to be a high-level pro, but a leader. a leader in the locker room. Like you talked about the injury situation and the fact that he's just soldiered through it. If you watch him on the court, you wouldn't know. He has just continued to show up and show out on both ends of the court for that Duke team. And he's a big guard now. This is
Yeah.
a big muscular guard, and he uses his body in a way that may cause some problems for Davis and Love coming up here. I mean,
No doubt.
I'm pretty sure Leaky Black is going to draw the Paolo assignment, if not Manic or Baycott. So either way, it's going to be a mismatch against most of them. But if Leaky Black draws Paolo Banchero, then who y'all got to check Griffin is going to be the question, because that's a big guard.
100%. And we'll definitely get to these Final Four matchups. Want to touch on the Sunday games that we had here. Kansas and Miami. Really good. Listen, Miami, they tried. First half, it was like, okay, neck and neck. And then you just saw sort of the air come out up under them and the carpet was drug. And it was like, all right, it's been real. You've been a top 10 team in terms, you were 10 seed. You came to the tournament with a lot of heart, a lot of fight. You surprised a lot of people with that big Auburn win. But now it's pretty much the glass slippers are off. Let's hang it up and keep it rolling. Kansas just showed how damn good they are and how much they've flown under the radar. I didn't know how good Remy Martin was, but it reassured me that everybody needs to be on notice. And as much as we talk about the Duke and Carolinas of the world, Kansas is nobody to sleep on.
Listen, nobody is going to say that Kansas hasn't played high-level basketball in these past few years. Nobody's going to say that they haven't played high-level basketball at all. But this Kansas team looks different. And with that being said, let's talk about Miami. Miami, I had a very good tournament run. Overall regular season, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But who wasn't up and down in the ACC this year? Again,
Right.
everybody is pretending like, oh, the ACC made up almost half of the Elite Eight. So we had a great conference. Come on. The record in the Big Ten ACC Challenge tells people what we did. Come on.
Right.
We got it right at the right time. We got it right at the only time that matters most in college basketball. And I'll give that. Nobody can argue whether or not the ACC got it right when it mattered the most in college basketball. Sure, but don't sit up here and play. But Miami, y'all played your hearts out. They gave everything that they had. At the end, Kansas was just a little too much. A little bit too
100%.
much depth, a little bit too much balance, a little bit too much of this, too much of that. It shakes out that way sometimes. Miami has nothing to be ashamed of. They can hold their heads high walking out of this tournament.
Yeah, it was definitely a second half run here. 47-15. Kansas outscored Miami. And not, like I said, they were great defensively. They were great offensively. And it just was their half. And that's why you play two halves of basketball. And ultimately, while Kansas is out on top heading to the Final Four, then you had your team, not your team, but just in general, talking about the ACC, North Carolina beating the Cinderella of them all, St. Peter's, the one who had all the heart. Coach Shaheen Holloway made you realize and how confident you were in saying, you don't got to be scared of much. That's why you play the game. That's why you go up against the big boys, because you want to have an opportunity to put yourself on the map. So I was not mad either way this game went because of how much heart St. Peter's have been playing with. However, North Carolina just too talented to really stand up against this St. Peter's program.
You know, this game showed that at some point in time, when these magical runs happen, again, you kind of are who you are when you got there. Like St. Pete's guards have been playing above their heads. And don't get me wrong, St. Pete's guards have not been bad all year. They played above their heads in the tournament. They played very good ball. At some point in time, you know, you just there's a little bit too much size on the other side. There's a little bit too much talent on the other side, and that's what happened there. You know that, and Shaheen Holloway saying you ain't got to be scared reminds me of, or they got a lot of kids from New York and New Jersey that ain't scared. Reminds me of a quote from my mother that has stuck with me for a majority of my life. You ain't got to be scared to catch a butt whooping, and they played their hearts out. They gave everything they had. But too much Manic, too much Baycott. I mean, 20-20 for Baycott. What? Just a dominating performance. Manic was hitting everything. I mean, the young man could not miss. He had the accuracy of Will Smith after a joke about his wife as far as hitting those shots time after time after time again in that game Sunday. So
You had to, right? You just had.
I
You
couldn't help it.
had.
I couldn't help
Yeah.
it. I couldn't help
Yeah.
it. Couldn't help it.
I could tell. I could tell it was hurting you not to get a pun in there. But either way it goes, definitely was happy to see Carolina pull out a good win, a handed win. St. Peter's couldn't make a shot. No matter what anybody tells you, it was a good game and their shots were there. They just were not falling in. And sometimes that's just, how it rolls for you, right? As much as things were going for your way in certain instances in other matchups, it just didn't go that way in this Carolina one. And ultimately they pulled out the 69-49 win against them. But again, St. Peter's had a great run, a great story. We know Shaheen Holloway probably going to go to Seton Hall, do his thing. Hopefully he takes some of those guys with him, or they figure out how to transfer into a better program. Maybe they got some highlights, out of this one. So nothing to hang their hats on. But Carolina is now going to face their ultimate rival in Duke. Want to talk about that here because as much as we wanted to stress about it, we thankfully have the Oscars that gave us a little bit of a distraction of that bad boy. We'll talk about it here in just a bit. But I want you guys to take back control of the handicappers that always seem to have the advantage when it comes to betting. You got to get in with StatHero. NCAA single game picks are right there for you. It's the Final Four. It's not many games left, so you got to get in on this action. Start focusing on the players you know best. There's only 4 teams left, so you have a lot of opportunities to study the game. And with the best gameplay, you don't have to rely on big spreads, long odds, or funky props. StatHero gives you the advantage resulting in their games winning 4 times more often because StatHero eliminates the mystery about who or what you are going up against. So StatHero is the easiest and fastest way to get your sports action fix. This is what daily fantasy was meant to be. Sign up for free right now at StatHero.com for a 100% match when you use promo code Locked On. That's StatHero.com/Locked On. Terms and conditions do apply. We're rocking and rolling here with Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack, and we are talking here about some really good games heading into the Final Four. This Saturday, we will see Villanova take on Kansas at 6 p.m. on TBS. Great game, but around here in the ACC country, all eyes will be on the 8:49 game between North Carolina and Duke. Just so happens to be the same weekend J. Cole was coming for Dreamville, and can you imagine? This is just Hoop State energy personified. They got to figure out a way to stream the game during the festival. Just one. But 2, how do you not get excited about this matchup if you're from North Carolina? Because this is what everyone has been desiring forever. Or maybe not. I don't know. I personally don't. But there are some people that have always wanted this. Now, I will ask you this. Bragging rights. Does this give you the ultimate bragging rights if one person beats the other?
So, Duke, all the North Carolina, all the Tar Heels, cover your eyes, close your ears right now. Turn away from the program. Now, for the Blue Devils, this is not just, is this redemption? This is your redemption. You understand me? All that extra nonsense y'all did, all that the brotherhood y'all did that got y'all ran up out of Cameron in Coach K's last ever game in Cameron. Let me tell you something. If you win this game and you go on to win the national championship, you have taken away Carolina's
It erases
Trump
it.
erases
Take away
it.
the trump card. It erases it. It doesn't
It
erase
erases
it.
It
No,
erases
sir.
it.
No,
Let me tell you
sir.
something. Let me tell you something. I have, again, you know me. I don't like the fact that in college basketball, the regular season basically doesn't matter. I don't like it, but it's the reality. And so if they go on to win this game and win the national championship, they've erased it. Now, if they go
No
on to
such
win this
thing.
game,
There's no
if they,
such thing.
hear me out.
Okay, all right.
If they win this game and they lose the national championship, y'all are kind of going card for card, like, oh, we put you out, we beat you last game, oh, we put y'all out the tournament in his last round. It's like, whatever. But if they win this game and win the natty, hold on now. Because then they would say, well, okay, sure, y'all beat us our last game. How did Roy go out again? Oh, okay. That you
But
got
Roy,
to argue.
but see, Roy's not in the conversation. We can't talk about Roy. Don't put Roy in here. Roy went out how he wanted to go out, and that's what he did. He didn't have this whole farewell tour. He didn't have this high praises thing. You're literally going up against a coach that's in his first season versus a coach in his last. Like, the paradox is just wild. Like, if we just put this on paper, this is Disney Plus movie waiting to happen based on a true story. Because you can't make this up, right? This is every sports person's dream.
But in rivalries, all of the context does not matter.
It does.
When UNC whooped the wheels off of NC State in football, nobody said, "Oh, y'all had Bailey Hockman and Finley's little brother back there." It was, y'all got the wheels whooped off y'all in football, and y'all always tell us wait till football season. So the context in these situations don't matter.
No. Because when you talk about, if we're doing football here, when NC State beat North Carolina in the last few plays of the game in the season, it didn't matter what Sam Howell had done for that program. It's all about how he, like the last few seconds, they tricked it off essentially. Like that's what everyone remembers, right? So you don't remember the 50-point loss. You remember the tricked off in the last two plays.
Oh, stop
win.
it. Stop
Are you kidding?
it. Listen, all I'm saying is this. Now, all right, I'm gonna talk to the UNC fans. Duke fans, cover your ears. If you like the Blue Devils, cover your eyes, turn away. UNC, y'all like being the villain. I know y'all like being the villain. You ruined it for St. Peter's. They played the villain very well at Cameron, did they not?
I don't think they ruined it for St. Peter's. We all just know that St. Peter's wasn't as talented. Like, come on, bro. Like, you just doing too much at this point.
They took the Cinderella about the paint.
What were they supposed to do? Like, oh, we have a good story. Let's keep it.
Okay,
like, bro,
so
okay.
They have played the spoiler fantastically. Okay. And guess what? Y'all can do it again. You think that you got the trump card because you put them out of Cameron with a loss? No, it ain't enough. You put them out here too? Ooh, y'all got it forever. It don't matter what Shire does.
Coach K is coming back. I guarantee it. Coach K is coming back.
He's too old. He got too many back problems. He got too many,
I mean, we don't watch the walk up 3 times. Man got a pimp walk for real. Like
that's what I'm saying. He may be from a suburb of Chicago or whatever, but that's not who he is no more. Okay, he's not. He shouldn't be walking like that. He's done. North Carolina fans, if y'all go ahead and get this one done, oh man, listen, it don't matter. The record of the series does not matter. Who won the last game does not matter. Whatever is going on in that series does not matter if y'all win this game. If y'all win this one, you've got a trump card unless they go on like an 8-0 run. You've got the trump card. You've got a trump card. There's nothing they can say.
But see, here's my thing. At the end of the day, we can't relive the past, and it happened. We have to acknowledge that. As much as people want to act like, yes, this will be a big deal, it'll be a huge deal. But you will never be able to have Coach K's final game in Cameron again. Yes, you can go on and win other things. Yes, you're supposed to win the ACC tournament, but you won the ACC regular season, so like you're not really underdogs. But okay. But again, you don't get to relive that. You don't get to say, oh, well, that feeling doesn't matter. It still mattered. You still felt like crap in that moment. Like, let's not do that. However, I will say, I think it's going to be either a brilliant game or it's going to be one of the worst games we've ever seen. Because I think everyone's going to be playing with tight butts.
My argument at no point in time here has been, the loss in Cameron all of a sudden disappears. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the trump card that comes out with, oh, that's cool. Y'all beat us in Cameron in Coach K's last game. Good for y'all. Y'all deserve it. Ring.
Get the ring first, because it'd be different this would be different if it was a national championship game. Like if we were playing for a national championship, I think we would have a whole different. That's the ultimate trump card. Beating Duke, beating North Carolina in a championship game on a national stage, can't ever relive that.
The Final Four,
but Final Four is not the. It's not a ring. When you say ring, all you're getting is a certificate for the Final Four. Thank you for participating. If they lose to Kansas, if they lose to Villanova, it'll be all for naught.
But that's why I said if they win this game and don't win the championship, it's different. But if they win the game and the championship, oh, y'all beat us in Cameron. Oh, that's cool. That's nice. That's real nice.
We gotta agree to disagree, because I don't think the way those people were crying in them clown suits and them costumes, I don't think anyone can have that moment back. Like,
fan is short for fanatic. Those people are called the Cameron crazies. If you expect them to be logical, decent, normal, you're not expecting reality. You're not.
That's fair. And honestly, I tell y'all all this all the time. I tell it on Twitter. Please don't lose your job over UNC and Duke tweets. Like, if neither university is paying you to say this kind of stuff, just watch your mouth. That's all I gotta say. But as we're rolling here, we all know that it is ACC time, and it is all about the 50% of teams that are gearing up for a really good final tournament. We've talked about the men. Let's touch on the women here. After I remind you guys that you're grabbing those treats when you're watching these games, and I know you've got a Built Bar in the mix. When you go to built.com right now, you can scroll down to the macro chart, and I promise you, you'll be blown away. High protein, low calorie, high fiber, low carb bars that'll be so delicious every time you eat them. Compare that to a candy bar that has way too many calories, too much sugar, and dozens of net carbs. If you want to get mint brownie, coconut almond, or even other delicious treats, go for it. I promise you will not be disappointed. At Built Bar, they are all about the taste. They make it taste delicious first, then figure out how to make it healthy. Offer now is going to built.com using promo code LOCK15 for 15% off. Again, going to built.com for 15% off. There it is, using promo code LOCKed15. We're finishing up here, Locked on Wolfpack host Kenton Gibbs joining me, talking about the men's tournament, which is going to be exciting nonetheless. But we've got really good matchups here for the women. NC State takes on UConn at 7 p.m. tonight in a really great matchup in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and pretty much a home game for UConn. Paige Bueckers and company will have to try and get past Alyssa Cunane and Raina Perez and all of that leadership and all of that heart over there with NC State. And I think Wes Moore is going to have these girls prepared for Gino and company. If you had to pick them, who are you going with? I think I know the answer.
NC State all the way. NC State all the way. And shame on you for even bringing your university into this. That's not what we're talking about right now. NC State all the way. And again, I have said this on air. I have said this off air. Them winning this national championship would be the greatest national championship in well over a decade. Again, the committee was designed to ensure competitive balance and prevent rematches and all that good stuff. Well, it's interesting in preventing rematches, especially in the first two rounds, as the what was it, Nina King? Is that her name? The AD at Duke, Miss King put together the brackets, and the committee put together the brackets in a way that ensured competitive balance and prevented rematches. NC State had two straight. Interesting. Not only did NC State have two straight, they had two straight and were put in a situation where they were either going to be having a third straight rematch from every round for the round of 32 all the way up until the Final Four, or they were going to have to take on UConn in a game that was 100 miles away from their campus, which, by the way, Jonas Pope of the News and Observer had a very interesting observation about. He said, and I quote, "There ain't much to do in Bridgeport. I don't understand why this is here." NCAA, you have captured that market for women's basketball.
Yeah.
Get away from the state of Connecticut. No offense to any UConn fans listening. Get away from Connecticut. Go somewhere else to where the people there are just now getting into women's basketball. Go somewhere to where that team is there's things to do in that area, and that team is a newcomer to the party.
Yeah.
I said the same thing about Greensboro. So it ain't just y'all. Greensboro has the ACC women's tournament there every year. They did not need a regional. But with that being said, I got NC State taking it.
But they need the money. At the end of the day, you can't have money. And if you know what works, why try and venture out somewhere else?
Because if your ultimate goal is to get the most money possible, you know how you get the most money possible? Do what all these sports are doing. Sports are getting more high scoring because they're abandoning hardcore fans. You know why they're abandoning hardcore fans? They know that hardcore fans will watch anyway. Football became offense ball because they know people like me who know the difference between a 0, a 1, a 3, a 5, a 6, and a 9 technique. We're going to watch the game anyway. People who know the difference between a man zone and a zone turn, a man turn and a zone turn, we're going to watch the game anyway. So
people who know the difference between a fine man and an all right man going to watch the game anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not okay. Well,
all
that's right. the hardcore folks are going to watch anyway. UConn, even if you do not have it in UConn, the regional in UConn folks are going to watch. They're going to travel. I promise you. Name me another good team out of any of UConn's revenue generating sports. Don't worry. I'll wait. Okay.
Can't do
So
it.
they're going to travel anyway. So with that being said, put it somewhere else. And now I'm done with that because, like I said, it's NC State is going to take this game and they're going to have one of the most difficult roads to a national championship. But there is no easy way. You know what I mean? In the words of Monty Williams, everything you want is on the other side of hard. Ladies, Wolfpack Nation, everything you want is on the other side of hard. So go get it.
Okay. You want to hit him with a go pack or no? You good?
Oh, absolutely. Go Pack. You know that the Go Pack was coming. Go Pack. You know.
Michigan, Louisville rounding out the field here with the Elite Eight performance. We've got a 9 p.m. game on ESPN. Michigan having a really good tournament run, playing very well, but Louisville is not going away. As much as people acted like they were just a little bit off, they're certainly riding the train of the number 1 seed, and they are set and ready to make that Final Four. Well, we see all 1 seeds potentially in the Final Four. We could. Louisville can help us out here.
We absolutely could. And I think that Louisville is one of the safer 1 seeds. And let me tell you why. Emily Inkster is a player that can defend 1 through 4 very well. She's got that Brooklyn toughness to her, and she wears it on her sleeve. And it shows because she is a gritty, hard-nosed, nasty defender. She's going to get up in you. Wherever you are, she's going to be on you. She's going to stick to you like white on rice. And, that's what I love to see. With that being said, Naz Hillman is going to have a tough time getting those buckets off against her. And at the end of the day, Michigan has played well in this tournament. But we all know when it comes to Michigan, if Naz Hillman ain't getting it going, it's going to be a tough time beating a good team like a Louisville that has Van Lith, that has Cochran, that has Inksler can do something offensively as well. So, you're looking at a tough time.
Absolutely. I think Haley has had a really good tournament. Haley Van Lith, she's been, balling every single time she's touched the court. And it's just going to be very interesting to see how they can remain poised in maybe getting down or maybe being in tight spots because Michigan loves to rattle you. They love to even stay close to make you feel like they have a chance. And as we've seen in this tournament, they've come out on top. So they've got to put it away early here. And I hope that they get it done in this late night venture. But that is all the time that we have today. Wrapping up the final thoughts here. Basketball has been fun. If you have not checked out any of the pro days, I promise you football talk is coming back. Got a lot of spring games happening in April around the bend, so you don't want to miss that as well. Kenton, the expert here when it comes to women's hoops as well as football, please remind these folks where they can find you, follow your work.
You can find me at Locked On Wolfpack wherever you're listening to this. You can find me at LO_Wolfpack on Twitter.
Love to hear that, guys. You can follow me on Twitter at Candace D. Cooper. You can hit me up anywhere. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure that you give us a follow and leave us all good reviews on anywhere you listen to podcasts. I think that about covers it. I would hit you with the Go Heels, but I'm supposed to be neutral on this bad boy. I will say, final thoughts. Man, Twitter, I get it. Like, we know a lot of things get shocking, but like I always repeat, don't lose your job over these rivalries. It's not that deep.
Again, Will, listen, I know I gave up 3 tendons for my university. Now, let me explain something to y'all, okay? Do you think that if your university was put in a position to risk their livelihood, to risk everybody's paychecks, to support you, to go too far and cross boundaries for you, you think they'd do that? Okay, so don't do that for anybody that wouldn't do it for you. Don't do it. It's not smart. It's not wise, okay?
Right. And if you're responding to people on Twitter, just expect to get response back. I think a lot of people feel like they could talk tough behind keyboard, but just know, you talk tough over here, I am going to respond to you, even if it's Carolina people coming out the side of their neck. Don't worry about it.
I'm a blocker. I'm a blocker. I'm a big –
Really?
Ben Wallace was always my favorite player in basketball for a reason. I'm a block you. I'm going to
give you what you're looking for. I'm going to give you what you're looking for because you want to come over here talking some stuff, talking about you just talked on Twitter. I got what you're looking for. So we say all that to say, hope you have a great Monday. Look forward to talking about these women's games and more importantly, getting you ready for that Carolina Duke matchup. We will be having some conversations, of course, with Locked On Blue Devils, Locked On Heels podcast. Go follow them. What a time to be alive. Go follow Locked On Wolfpack. Go follow Locked On Louisville. All of the good stuff here. So for Candace Cooper and Kenton Gibbs, until next time.